Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a few topics to get into today. We're going to start right away here with this sort of leak about E3. And you can see the headline here from VGC, E3 2024 and 2025 have been canceled, LA Tourism Board claims. And then there was an update to the story as it developed last Friday. So this was spotted over on Reddit, and this is the Los Angeles City Tourism Board of Commissioners. I guess they had like a presentation for the upcoming fiscal year. And on this slide here, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner in their financial information, it says it includes E3 cancellations for 2024 and 2025. Now, if you remember, E3 was supposed to be this month, but it was canceled back in March. And at that time, the ESA stated that there would be three main reasons for the cancellation. And there's a transcribed quote here from the ESA president, and this was back when the announcement was made. First, several companies have reported that the timeline for game development has been altered since the start of the COVID pandemic. Second, economic headwinds have caused several companies to reassess how they invest in large marketing events. And third, companies are starting to experiment with how to find the right balance between in-person events and digital marketing opportunities. Now, as I said earlier, there was an update as this developed on Friday. The ESA did release a statement. ESA is currently having conversations about E3 2024 and beyond, and no final decisions about the event have been made at this time. Now, it could be that the Los Angeles City Tourism Board of Commissioners were just planning for no E3 since it was canceled this year, but this does at least tell me that they haven't signed any deal to host E3 yet. So it's still kind of up in the air about the future of E3. I think most of us pretty much thought E3 was done with when they canceled the in-person event that was scheduled for this month. However, I've thought that there could be ways they could improve E3, maybe move it to a different time of year so it's not competing with things like Summer Game Fest. Maybe they could kind of scale back on that in-person event and make it invitation only for industry guests. And if they could somehow manage to partner with some publishers to kind of create some digital events all under an umbrella of E3, I think that would be beneficial. But let me know what you think. Do you think we've pretty much seen the end of E3? Or do you think E3 could be the comeback kid if they can just kind of restructure and reorganize and refocus? Next, the Microsoft Activision Blizzard FTC hearing has been going on since late last week. And there have been a few things that have come out that I kind of wanted to highlight. Now, I don't really feel like going into some of the politics behind the gaming industry. There's a lot of information in there about that. So if you're interested, I suggest you keep following the court case. But there have been some interesting notes, and first we'll start with some cloud gaming related stuff. And all this information has been cataloged at GameIndustry.biz. And first it says, according to IGN, Bond, and they're talking about Sarah Bond, who's the Xbox vice president, also claimed the majority of Xbox Cloud gaming players use it as a console feature. For example, starting to play a game while it downloads in the background rather than a service. So in other words, people aren't really using the cloud gaming as like their way to play most of their games. They're just kind of using it as a stopgap until the game downloads or to try it out. And the next we see The Verge reported Bond revealed Xbox was working on a dedicated version of Xbox Cloud Gaming separate from Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, but the operational costs are high and Microsoft has since made partnerships with other cloud gaming services. So in other words, they were looking for a way to maybe just have a cloud gaming subscription apart from Game Pass, but it just didn't seem like they were making a whole lot of money on cloud gaming. Next, we get a glimpse of when we might see the next generation of consoles. Court documents reviewed by IGN suggest the expected starting period for the next generations of consoles is 2028, 8 years after the launch of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. The estimate came up during discussions of Microsoft's proposed 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, saying the terms guarantee the series will continue on the next Sony console and guarantee parity with Xbox versions. And something interesting I thought that came out about Microsoft developing games for PlayStation consoles is that Sony may not always be cooperative in that process. You can see from the article here, it says, Axios' Stephen Tortello shared comments from Jim Ryan, who said Sony would not be able to share details about the next PlayStation console with a Microsoft-controlled Activision. Ryan believed Activision would not be incentivized to develop games that make use of any device features that were not available for the next Xbox. So let's take, for example, those adaptive triggers that is not available on the Xbox. So I guess Ryan's thinking is, why would games that Microsoft is making use those features? Now, you may kind of see this as being petty on Sony's part when it comes to sharing details about the next PlayStation console with Microsoft. But if you think about it, it kind of makes sense that Sony would not want to share information about their upcoming hardware with their competitor in the hardware market. Let's go back and look at an example in the days of the PlayStation 1. It was reported that Sega found out that the PlayStation 1 was going to have 3D graphics, so Sega added a second processor to the Saturn for 3D, if my memory serves me right. See, the Saturn was originally going to be a 2D system, which if you look back at the Saturn knowing this, you can see why the Saturn had some great 2D games like X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and why a lot of their 3D games didn't seem to do and perform as well as the PlayStation's. And then the last thing kind of highlighting here is something about exclusivity agreements. You can see from the article, speaking of exclusivity, IGN reported that the original agreement between ZeniMax and Disney was for the upcoming Indiana Jones game to be a multi-platform title. However, Bethesda's Pete Hines revealed this was amended to make the game exclusive to Xbox and PC, as well as arriving day one on Game Pass. Now, I think there were some rumors floating around there about this Indiana Jones game being an Xbox exclusive, but we kind of have it confirmed here. And this court case is definitely interesting. You find a lot out about the business and how it works, as well as some of these, I guess you could say, leaks that are sort of outside the realm of this acquisition. And I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more days of this. I think originally it was supposed to be for 3 days, but I'm not sure. They started late, so I'm not sure how much more is left. And I believe Jim Ryan's testimonies are completely sealed, so we're not going to get to see anything coming from him, which is unfortunate. But let me know what you think about this court case. Are you following it closely? Or are you just kind of picking up some of the tidbits that are coming out? I'm more interested in some of the side notes that I've covered here, but let me know what you think. And finally, Sega had the Sonic Central presentation at the end of last week, and there are a few interesting announcements there. First, when it comes to Sonic Origins Plus, the Plus content is out now, and just remember that the Plus content is only available as a digital download. So even if you pick up that physical release, you're going to have a download code for that extra stuff. And then when it comes to Sonic Frontiers, they're doing a Birthday Bash DLC, and this is the second of the 3 free Sonic Frontier updates planned for 2023. And they're adding new challenges, movies, new game plus, and all of this is out now. And then on the Sonic Superstars front, it is heading to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC this fall. And I'll have a bit more on that release date here in a minute. But from that announcement, you can see that you play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy Rose, and they all have their own unique mechanics. Sega also revealed that Sonic will have a special Lego makeover in the game, and this is an optional skin you can choose while playing. And as a pre-order bonus, they're going to have an acrylic display stand and a reversible cover for your game case, as well as a Lego Eggman in-game skin. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get to play as Eggman. I think as a lot of people thought when they first saw this, it just means that as a boss, he'll be skinned like a Lego. And then back on that release date, since this presentation, the game went up at several retailers. And you can see this tweet here from Sonic Orion 23. So Sonic Superstars releases October 17th according to Target. And you can see they have a screenshot here showing the release date. And it was reported that GameStop also had this release date, but both retailers have removed that since the listing went up. And this is probably still a tentative release date, so it'll depend, I guess, on how development goes, but it's probably going to be pretty close, if not completely accurate, because it's probably the date they're shooting for. And I haven't picked up Sonic Superstars just yet. I may kind of wait to see what the reviews say. I've got so many other games that are coming out around that time, and some that I'm still probably going to be trying to finish. It may be something I may wait on a discount to pick up. I really don't care much for an acrylic stand for a pre-order bonus. And that's all we have for today. Did anything we cover catch your attention? If so, leave a comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. It really does help out the channel quite a bit. I want to thank you for watching, and be good.